Well, it's tough times indeed for many South Africans bearing the brunt of the impact of the lockdown. Many people finding themselves in financial distress. They could be looking for more help from financial institutions. Banks have put measures in place to give relief to those with debt. But what are the options and what should we be careful of to help with this? We're joined by the CEO of Debt Rescue, Neil Roets. And Neil, thank you very much for joining us. Now, you deal with people all the time who are battling with debt. It's an ongoing problem. Even before the lockdown, we were in a recession, so people feeling the pinch. How much worse has it got in the last 6 weeks?
Yeah, it's got a lot worse during the last couple of weeks. The reality is that, like you mentioned, is that we as a country has been so over-indebted, all the consumers in South Africa, or most of the consumers. In fact, all or half of all credit active consumers were over-indebted before lockdown, being in arrears with at least three payments on one of their accounts. Now, the lockdown obviously just made everything worse because of the fact that people are not earning money. And the reality is that without a 1 month's salary, people can just not survive. That's the reality, and it's not going very well with the people out there. So we can just hope that this lockdown can end as soon as possible, and people can get back to work and start to earn their salaries, because the reality is we cannot do without it. Yes, there are a few measures of relief.
Yes, and I wanted to ask you about that. One of them we hear a lot about is a sort of a payment holiday on your bond, that you can approach your bank and say, could I have a few months break from paying my bond? Is that an option? Are there any pitfalls?
Yes, it is an option, but the reality is just that that's just what it is. It's a payment holiday, so you're still going to pay back that money. You're just going to get that 3 months of not paying, which is good in these circumstances. But the reality is this is only applicable to people in good standing. And we don't know what that means. We can just assume that those are people who have never missed one payment at all, or always paid 100% on time. We don't know. It's still up to the banks whether they grant this relief or not. So there's still going to be thousands and thousands of people who are still in a situation where they cannot afford to pay their bond payments or any other credit payments for that matter. But they're not in good standing. So what about those people? So we are very lucky in South Africa for having a system called debt counselling and the National Credit Act, which was implemented in 2007. And that makes it possible for people to pay off their debt in an affordable manner without losing their assets. And
now, how does debt counselling work? So sorry to interrupt, but how does debt counselling work? And would you take on a client if you know they're not getting any monthly salary at the moment?
Yeah, you see, that's the sad reality, is that without a salary in that household, we cannot place that person under debt review. But if, let's say, one member in the household has lost their income, it's still possible to place the other person under debt review, therefore making the combined cost of living affordable to that household. But yes, it's really helped a lot of people over the years, and it's been a process that's been streamlined over 10 years and basically perfect for the situation that we're finding ourselves in, because of the fact that you're going to be protected by a court order and allowing you to pay lesser installments towards your credit providers. Whereas with these relief measures that's in place, that's only applicable on certain accounts. And there's no guarantee as to how long that's going to help you, because we don't know when you're going to start earning your salary again and how much that's going to be. Whereas with debt review, it's a permanent measure of relief, and you get the protection of a court order and then the Act, the National Credit Act, assisting you and protecting you in the circumstances.
Certainly sounds like an option. Thank you very much. CEO of Debt Rescue, Neil Roets, thank you very much for your time.